Silent moves I've been making, different chances I've been taking. I know they hate it. Hey, you told them pigs everything in. I should've known you would bake it. You love bacon. They're dropping dimes. Pocket full of change. Can't do the time. No. Fuck, never leave the game. My grandma told me keep a Bible, it'll come in handy. My mama showed me who to write with. Thank God for Angie.
What's going on YouTube? I am Sine and I'm back with another video. Today I got a quick story time for y'all, and basically I just feel like we starting the new year off good, and I just wanted to come to y'all with a story time and bitch get a little personal so y'all can know a little bit more about me. But basically before we get into the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Also turn on your post notifications so anytime I post new content on my channel you'll be notified. Yeah, we just gonna jump right into the video. Now, I will throw it out there, just a quick disclaimer. This story time is probably going to open the door for other story times. And I say that because, like, this particular story time kind of was like, this was like the beginning of my life spiraling out of control. If you read the title, then you see that this story time is about me fighting my roommate in particular. Now, I am gonna give y'all some background on this girl, the whole situation, so y'all can kind of paint a picture in y'all head and y'all can understand really for what it was. I ain't gonna use none of these people's real name, and really just cause I don't fuck with them. I don't fuck with none of the people that I'm talking about in this story no more.
I got a million trillion things that I'd rather fucking do.
Okay, music stops.
Than to be fucking with you.
Yep.
If I feel like I would want to, or I can't think of a name, then fuck it, YOLO. Let me give y'all just the background so y'all can understand everything. So I had an ex. My ex, I'm gonna name him Khalil, because Khalil was one of the nicknames that he used to use all the time. It was like his alias. Like, he was such a fuck nigga. He used to always do fuck nigga shit, so he never really used to give out his real name unless you knew him.
That's weird.
I started talking to Khalil when I was a 12th grader, when I was a senior in high school. We was both from the same area, so I didn't even meet him from my neighborhood. He went to two different schools, but they was like in the same, they was in the same city. So because we stayed in the same neighborhood, they just made everybody ride the same bus. So that's kind of how I ran into him. He was always good friends, but like relationship wise, it just never worked out. We break up while I'm a senior in high school. I'm about to go to college anyways. We did keep in touch, but like, he was still in high school. Even though we was the same age, he was a year under me, like a grade under me. So we didn't graduate at the same time, and I was leaving. Everybody knew I was going to school. So, you know, he kept in touch, but it was kind of like, you know, he stayed home in the neighborhood, and I went to school. We kind of kept in contact. We would talk, like, we would have, every year, we would have like these little periods where we would like really be talking, and it just fade away. Like, I would get irritated by his attitude or something, and then it just be what it was. So basically, I graduated from college, and around the time of me graduating from college, I was looking for apartments. I basically moved every year that I had an apartment in Tampa. I always just found a new apartment that I liked better every year. This particular year, me and my friend, one of my friends, decided we would live together. She had just gotten pregnant. I originally didn't want to move with her. I just wanted to give me a 1-bedroom apartment, live by my motherfucking self, and that just be what it was. But she was about to have a baby, and I could tell she really wanted to like live with me. We hung out a lot, so it kind of was only right for us to move together.
Are you dumb, stupid, or dumb?
So I was just like, you know, I feel like I gotta be there for her. I just graduated, so I felt like I had a little bit more free time on my hands, but also I was working. I had just got my like first official job, and in my field, even though I graduated, there was one credit that I didn't have. So I still had to take a class. So I was going to school and I was taking a class. It was just like a busy time. Like, people always used to be like, girl, it always seemed like you working. And I work part-time. I only work 4 days a week. And it felt like I was always at work. So we moved together, and in the beginning of me moving with her, I had 2 apartments. So not only was I working, taking a class, but I had an apartment. So I would be there. I would like split my time. So basically I would be in my other apartment, because at the beginning I didn't have furniture in that apartment because I had another apartment. So I would like stay and sleep at my one apartment, but I would be there like during the day, or I would come by and stuff like that. And then eventually my lease ended in that place, so I would stay there all the time. In the beginning, I really wasn't around, but like, I feel like that's kind of understood for like somebody who just started working, who just graduated. Like, it's not like I'm sitting around being a bum, like I'm working hard. She was pregnant, and both of us kind of came from like the same situations where we had families that really took good care of us. So we didn't really have to pay our rent, and that was the situation for her. We didn't have to work, we didn't have to pay rent. And I had only got that job when I graduated, because I graduated, I'm like, I gotta work now. But my mom was still paying my rent. My mom paid my rent all the way until 2016. The situation was the same with her. Oh, and I forgot, I'm gonna give her a nickname. I'm gonna call her Tiffany. We were in like similar situations. So she was still in school. She was a year behind me, and she was going to be graduating the next year. So she was about to have a baby, but she was also about to graduate. That was another reason why I wanted to be there for her, because I just was like, my friend got to graduate. It was really the beginning of her pregnancy when we moved together. So yeah, like that was a situation. I would go to work, I would go to class, and I really wasn't home that much. And I think that because of that, maybe she started feeling some type of way towards me. I just started getting like a weird vibe from her, and I think it was just because I couldn't hang out with her that much. And I would come home and I would go straight to my room, and now thinking about it, I was like, dang, I could have been like probably a better friend, but I don't think I was a shitty one either.
Like, it's not that serious. Trust me, I know that.
I would say maybe a month into us living there. I'm not even sure if we was there for a whole month. One day I came home from work. I believe it was work. It might have been class, because it was like early in the afternoon and I came home. So it probably was class. And I come home, and we had a friend, I'm gonna call her Tanya. My friend Tanya, she was over, and when I walked in the apartment, it just got super awkward. Like, I went in there to speak to her or whatever, because I saw Tanya was in there. I was like, oh, let me go speak to them. And it just got mad awkward, like they was talking about me. And I was like, that's kind of weird. Why is there like awkward energy with me? It shouldn't be. Like, it just, I don't know, it felt off. So it made me leave, and I just let them do whatever they did in the room and just chill by themselves, because I was just like, I don't know why, but it didn't feel like I was welcome when I walked in. And it wasn't necessarily Tanya, it was my friend. What did I call her? I forgot her nickname. What did I call her? Tiffany. Okay, so it was really my friend Tiffany. That's where I was getting a weird energy from. So I was like, okay, that's weird. I'ma just let them be, and I left. So probably the next day, I get a message. I want to say I was at work. I got a message from Tiffany, and she's like,
Hey, with me being pregnant, my grandparents, they cut me off, and I can't stay there no more because they're not paying my rent.
that shit blew the fuck out of me, because I'm just like, I didn't want to live with this bitch anyway. I had roommate after roommate after roommate, and I just didn't want to do that shit no more. Like I said, it made sense because she was my friend. We was always together, so it really did make sense for us to live together, but I would rather have lived by myself. So when she hit me with the, I gotta move, bitch, I was like, and I think I was at work, and I just remember being really upset about that. And like, damn, this bitch like really talking about she gotta move. But the good part about that was she was just like,
I gotta move, but I'll find you a roommate. We'll find at least somebody that can pay the other half of rent.
I still was a little skeptical about that, because then I was like, now I gotta move with somebody I don't even know in this apartment. Like, I could have just moved by myself. So basically, she found me a roommate. She gonna be moving in such and such day. I'm like, I bet. Now, we had to like, I think we ended up putting her on the lease or whatever. We did the right thing. We got my friend Tiffany off the lease, and then we put her on the lease. Now it's the girl about to move in. Tiffany tells me she gonna move in on a Monday. This bitch started moving her shit in on Sunday. I'm like, she ain't supposed to be here till tomorrow, but I also wasn't tripping, because I'm like, bitch, it's only a fucking day. Like, it's not that deep. But I was just like, why the fuck she moving this like a day early? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then I just wasn't having it with that bitch, because even though she was on the lease, like, technically, bitch, I was here the fuck first, so I ran this shit. So that was just always my mentality going into that situation with that girl. I knew that I ran that shit because I was there first, bitch, and you couldn't tell me shit otherwise. That's just what it was, period.
Stop it. Get some help.
Wasn't nobody in that motherfucker telling me nothing about that motherfucker, because guess what? This my shit. I don't care if you're on the lease, bitch. This my shit. When we opened that lease up, the first name at the top of that lease was my motherfucking name. So, bitch, this mine. So she moves in. She started moving in on Sunday. And maybe it was because she had to work on Monday that she decided to just move in on Sunday. But all I know is the next day, she's gone. It's morning time. And Monday, it's a Monday, so I didn't work. I come out the room to go in the kitchen to make me something to eat. And I'm like, how the apartment was set up, her apartment was like the front door, and then there was an opening, and it was her bathroom, and then her room. My room was basically at the back of the apartment. So like, to come out of my room, and like, you basically, like, I came out of my room, and straight ahead is the living room's right there, and then straight ahead is the hallway, and then the kitchen. I don't know why, but like, the very first thing I noticed when I come out of my room is a fucking black cat on top of my fridge. So I fucking flip, because anybody that knew me back in 2015 knew I was fucking terrified of cats. Like, I had this like cartoon idea of cats in my head. Like, they were just gonna jump on my face and claw like this, bitch. I was scared. When I seen the cat, I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck, bitch? Now I'm like, we got a big ass cat in here. Not only is it a cat, but bitch is black, and it's on my fridge.
I said, damn, bitch.
I thought that shit was disgusting, like a fucking cat on my fridge. I called my friend Tiffany, and I'm like, look, Tiffany, this bitch got a cat on the fridge. Like, it's a cat in here. And I didn't like cats. So she was like, what, a cat? Like, that girl didn't tell me she was bringing no cat. Right? So then Tiffany, she had a real cool mom, and her mom was just like, oh, you know, just do this, and this is how you can get rid of the cat. So basically, that was how I was able to get the cat out of my motherfucking kitchen. I was fighting for my life, bitch.
I'm fighting for my life.
So the cat takes off running in her room, because I guess she kept her room door cracked. She used to keep her room door cracked enough where her cat can kind of come in and out, like he's a motherfucking person. I finally get into the kitchen where I'm not scared enough to actually walk. She leaves a note like, should have told me the bitch had issues. Kanye, this bitch talking about she got a cat and he's a little scared, so she got to leave the door open for him. So in my mind, I'm thinking like, this is supposed to be my warning, and I almost lost my life trying to get to the damn warning. I had wished like maybe she put the note in front of my door. That way I would have been aware before I tried to step foot out of my room. I thought I was finna die trying to get to that cat. So anyway, so I read the note about the cat, blah, blah, blah. I ended up getting a note. I text her like, yo, you know, I'm like terrified of cats. I did not know you had a cat. We never spoke about it. Like, we got to do something about the cat because it's just not gonna work for me. So we ended up figuring it out. Like, she would still leave her room door open from time to time, but the cat stopped going in the kitchen. He would come out of the room and like roam around, but like when I would come in, he would take off in the room. It didn't bother me no more because it was just like, I didn't have to see him no more. This girl really didn't have many issues. She just didn't do anything. Like, she didn't really contribute anything. She didn't put any food in the house. She was really broke. She was really broke. And mind you, she was like really older than me. She was like 28, or 20. It was either 28 or 29. She was almost 30, bitch. So in my mind, all I kept thinking, like, from the time I first met her, all I could think was like, this bitch is almost 30. Like, I'm a college graduate. I just graduated and I'm living with a motherfucking 30-year-old. I could not get over that. Like, this bitch is 30. Like, I just couldn't get over it. So, yeah, like, she was kind of broke. Like, she worked a lot, but I don't know where her money was going because our rent was only $500 a month. Like, that we split. It was $525 because our rent was $1,050 a month. And I just didn't understand where the fuck her money was going, because I'm like, you work all the time. Rent is only $500, and why are you so broke?
What was the reason?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I get it. I guess I can't really say much because my mom paid my rent, but bitch, why are you so broke? She had a little Yoda. She had one of them old ass Yodas, like, obviously she didn't have no payment on it. It was like an old ass car. It probably was like her first car. That's how old that car was. And like I said, she always worked. She didn't buy no groceries. She didn't put nothing in that house. Like, she was, you know, she was just one of those people that was struggling, bitch. She was broke. She didn't contribute anything to that household ever at all. And I just was kind of like, I had this mentality is like, as long as you don't touch my shit. And I used to be pretty easygoing back then. I didn't bother nobody. I wasn't in her way. Like, she wasn't in my way much besides that motherfucking cat. Like, you know, we really didn't talk a lot. Like, we just kind of did our own thing. We went our separate ways, and that was that. I was trying to hang with that bitch, and that's what it was. Now, I told y'all about Khalil. So me and Khalil, we start dating, we start talking, and at the time, Khalil was fucking married, bitch. He was motherfucking married, and yeah, we was young, but that motherfucker got married to the first bitch. Well, no, this was like his, y'all don't judge me, bitch, but this was like his second baby mama already, and he married her. I guess he wanted to do it different. He married the girl. After they got married, they started having issues. I guess she was trying to work it out, but he wasn't. You know how niggas do. Like, niggas will stay in a situation and they just won't break it off with you, and it'll be the female fighting for it. They don't really give a fuck, and that just be what it is. But he was still married, so I wasn't right. But that's just what the situation was. And she used to always be trying to come for me. That's just a whole nother situation. Like, I don't fault this girl. I fought her twice. One time she jumped me, and then we fought again. It was a lot of drama with her. So if y'all ever want to hear any story times about that situation, definitely comment down in the comments below. Probably like a month after, or a month or two, probably 2 months after my roommate moved in, my new roommate moved in, and I forgot to give her name, so we gonna call her bitch, I call her by her first name. I don't care. We're gonna call her Alexis. She was fucking named after a car anyway, just to put 2 and 2 together. Alexis had just moved in like 2 months ago, and I just started talking to him. Really has nothing to do with each other, but I'm just giving y'all the timeline. So I started talking to him like the end of the year, the very end of that year, a few months after I graduated, and it was like normal. Like, we would just talk. He was always flirting with me, but I just used to kind of brush it off. But for whatever reason, this time it was a little different, because we just really got serious. And I think it was partially also because I was very lonely.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
I was dating somebody right before I graduated, and we was talking for a little minute, and we got really serious, but I wasn't feeling that relationship anymore. So I didn't want to talk to him anymore, but I didn't want to just deal with him just because I was the type of person, like, if I didn't really feel it no more, I would just cut you off. We broke it off, and I was lonely, so I started talking to him, and that's why I kind of really attached myself to him. And like I said, that was my first love, so we just had a connection, period. We hit it off really fast, but like, you know, we already know each other, so we don't gotta get to know each other. We ain't gotta go through all that extra shit. We just basically picking up where we left off. Mind you, during this time, I'm back and forth. I used to stay only 3 hours from Broward. I would go back and forth from Tampa to Broward on the weekend. I would go when I had work the next morning, because 3 hours, I could leave at 6 in the morning and make it enough time to go to work. It was days where I would go down there and come right back, like, all the time. I was always traveling down there, going to see him, going to see my friends, basically everybody, bitch. So from the very first, even from that, the very first time I went to go see him, it was some drama. Like, I'm telling y'all, like, I feel like it was red flags, bitch. I was just not picking up on them, bitch. I just wasn't. And you know, sometimes that just be the case. That just be what it was. A couple months into us talking, he ended up having to come to I won't say live, but he ended up having to come to stay with me. So, it wasn't a permanent thing. He just had to come stay with me for a minute, because he had a little situation and he needed to get out of town. He comes to stay with me, and this is like not a month, but this is basically the month of April. This is the month of April, and this is like probably a few days into April, until the very last day of April he's there. So like I said, he decided he want to come, and it's a whole situation because he on house arrest. So I got to when I go pick him up, we had to go first thing to the probation office, and then they had to switch his office to Tampa. It couldn't even stop. We had to go straight to the probation office as soon as we got to Tampa. No stops, just probation and then home. He's there, and like I said, I used to work and all that stuff, so I used to have to leave him home. He was on house arrest. He couldn't go no fucking where. But he really didn't do anything at the house besides fucking chill the fuck out. I mean, what else can you do? He couldn't even walk past the stairs in my apartment without his damn band going off on his leg.
Shout the season,
You know what I'm saying? Like, he could go sit on the stairs, but if he walked out a little bit past that, his thing was going off. So he had to stay in the house. Like I said, my roommate worked a lot, so she was really not there a lot. She would be there on occasion on her off days. That was really the only time she was there, nights and her off days. She would get home probably like an hour before I used to get home, but she worked before me, so she used to work like 12-hour shift. Now I guess eventually she picked up on it being a negative. Now like I said, this bitch was broke, so I feel like she tried to use that opportunity as a way to kind of get over on me, bitch. That's how I looked at it, bitch. She was trying to get over on me. I ain't like that shit.
You can't even do that, boo.
I'ma just fast forward because it's really nothing significant that we have to talk about that happened during this month. It's April 30th and his birthday was like 5 days later. So I was taking him back home so that he could celebrate his birthday at home, and then we was deciding whether he was gonna come back or not. Like, we just didn't know what we was really doing because it was actually a good month, but like it was still weird. You know, I had to adjust to, like, that was my first time actually having a nigga like living with me type of thing. So it was weird for me. We was adjusting, but it was still a good time. Like, it was cool having the company. But like I said, we didn't establish when he was coming back. So right at that point, basically, he was just going back home. Like I said, it's April 30th, and when I used to travel, I would get up like 6, 7, 8 in the morning. This particular day, I know we stayed up kind of late because we knew he was leaving the next day, so we was tired as fuck. And I think we woke up and we ended up not even leaving for like another hour or two later. Like, it wasn't like a specific time we had to go to probation or nothing, so it wasn't like a whole big thing. But yeah, so like we ended up leaving like an hour or two later, but I know we left like around 7, 8 o'clock. We had to go to his probation office first, check in, and then we was gonna get on the road, had to go down there and check in, and then he can be on his way. So we, on the way to the probation office, just left the apartment, and I get a text message from this bitch Alexa. And this bitch is basically saying like,
oh no, you decided to move your man in because you decided to move him in, and because he's living here now, we're gonna split the rent 3 ways.
Child. Anyway, so.
And that shit annoyed the fuck out of me because it was just like, why the fuck are you trying to get over, bitch? Pay your half of the rent. Like, did that make sense? No, it does not make sense, because I just was like, wouldn't he technically be, you know, like, I'm paying my half of the rent. That's up to me if I want to decide with him if I want to go half and half on my half of the rent. You know what I'm saying? But bitch, you can't decide you want to go 3 ways with somebody that's not on our lease. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't even there a full month and you talking about 3 ways. That bitch tried to get over it, and I feel like maybe she didn't have the money, or she just took it as an opportunity, like, bitch, I'm gonna save me some money this month. But wrong bitch. You ain't saving no money on my dime. Period. So she tried to get real fly with me, like, oh yeah, like, you got a nigga staying here, so we splitting rent 3 ways. And like I said, bitch, I was there first, so I run that shit. I told her straight up, I'm like, look, if you don't pay your half of the rent, which is $525, you gotta go. You gotta move, and you ain't gonna be able to live here. So she was trying to like boss up on me, like, oh, you don't tell me where the fuck I'm going, I bet you I don't leave. She's like, yeah, like talking real fly to me. I'm gonna pay what the fuck I wanna pay, and you gonna have to figure out how the fuck y'all, you know what I'm saying? Basically, like, he gonna have to pay it, and I'm not paying it. I'm like, bitch, listen, if you wanna live here, you are going to pay that rent. Mind you, we're on the way to go back to Broward to drop him off. It was just so fucking crazy to me that the day I'm leaving to take him, mind you, she don't know nothing about this because I don't talk to this bitch. If it was a situation where we actually spoke to each other, or I actually knew that he was gonna be living with us, then I would have went to her. But we didn't talk, so I didn't have to run it by you that I got my nigga here. Like, I don't have to do that. If I had a nigga there, I could have a nigga come stay the night with me every night. You gonna try to make him split it 3 ways because he's staying the night? Like, that's why I just was like, this bitch is slow. She really thinks she gonna get over me and split the rent 3 ways. Like, huh? That's not your decision to make. But still, he about to go back to Broward. So this shit just really is blowing me because she don't know he's leaving, and she coming at me about splitting the rent 3 ways. Not only that, it's April 30th. She's basically like, I already paid the rent, and I ain't paid half. I paid 1/3. So she had already had it in her mind that was what she was gonna do. You should have told me about that before you decided to go run your ass to that rental office. I don't play like that. So I told her straight up, I said, look, if you only paid a third of that rent, unfortunately, you ain't gonna be able to get it back. But if you don't pay your half of the rent, you ain't gonna be able to live here.
I said what I said.
Like, you not gonna be able to live here. So she start getting, you know, oh, bitch, you, and we sending paragraphs to each other, like going back and forth. She like, bitch, I bet you I stay there. I bet you ain't gonna be able to tell me what to do. I bet you ain't gonna be able to make me leave. And then she hit me with the bitch fade me. And them just is fighting words. That shit just triggered something in me. Mind you, I'm in Broward. I'm 3 hours away. But I held that shit in my heart until the next motherfucking day when I seen that hoe. So I had already knew I was gonna go back home and fight her. When she said that shit to me, I said, there's no way she's gonna be able to live in this apartment. Now we gotta fight. I had already had this plan. I told my friend Tanya. Now my friend Tanya, she was a firecracker. Like the very first time I hung out with her, we was going on a trip for spring break out of town. And she took me to her house and she beat up her roommate in front of me. Very first time we hung out. The bitch was crazy. So when that shit happened, I called her and I'm like, look, my roommate talking about she ain't gonna pay. You know, I gave her the rundown. If she try to get funny with me and she ain't trying to leave, I'ma just make sure, I'ma just set it up where she hit me first. So that way I can put a restraining order on her if she don't wanna leave and we can get this bitch the fuck out of here. So I had it all in my mind what was gonna happen. I go there, I drop him off. The next day, I'm up bright and motherfucking early ready to get back because I had to go to work at 3:30. So I had to have enough time to drive back to town, get ready for work and everything. Anyways, but bitch, I had it in my mind, I'm fighting when I get back. So it didn't matter. It didn't matter what happened. I had already had it in my mind too, like I might call off from work because I know I'm gonna fight her. And I don't know how much time all of this is gonna take, but bitch, I might not make it work. I knew I was gonna fight her, period. So I'm on my way driving, you know, I'm telling you the whole drive back, the whole entire drive back, I'm literally in the car, like talking about how I'm gonna beat this bitch ass when I get back. When I got back to Tampa, bitch, I was fuming. I hit up my homegirl Tanya and I'm like, look, Tanya, I'm back in town, bitch, pull up. Tanya like, okay, bitch, I'm down the street. So she already knew what time it was. She was coming. She was a ride or die friend. Like, one thing I can say about that bitch, she was loyal as fuck. She was a ride or die. And if I would have called her and if I would have needed her to come to Broward, she would have came. She was very, very loyal. So I'm like, bitch, yeah, this what it is. I'm about to pull up. So I get home and the first thing I do is walk in the apartment, but she's not there.
Where the fuck is your ass? Where's your ass?
I noticed she wasn't there from before I got in the apartment because when I pulled up, I didn't see her raggedy ass car. I'm like, oh, she not here. Because I was out of town, I decided to go to my mailbox, check my mailbox or whatever. So I walk to my mailbox and I come back. And when I come back, Tanya in the apartment. I left the door unlocked. I said, how the fuck you got in here? She was like, yo, roommate let me in. I said, when the fuck she get here? Because I just came in here. She was not in here. She's in the bathroom taking a shower. So I'm like, oh, this bitch just came in the house real quick, tried to jump in the shower on some real coward shit. You said phase you when I got back, bitch. You supposed to be ready to fight. I already knew I was gonna fight. So when I came in town, bitch, I had on a hat, I had on a t-shirt, I had on some sweatpants, some sneakers, I had on my Huaraches, my all black Huaraches, bitch. I meant motherfucking business. I was dressed like I knew I was about to toss her ass, bitch. My bad, y'all. My camera died and bitch, I made me a drink. Anyways, the bitch is in the shower. So, she let Tanya in and then she got in the shower. I thought that was the weirdest shit ever. I think she was trying to avoid me and she went and got in the shower and she didn't really know that I was really built like that. And bitch, I'm from Broward and ho, I'm finna fight you.
I get active, little baby. Ma'am, missus.
I stood by her bathroom door and waited for her to come the fuck out. So when she came out, I said, so what you was talking about over the phone? I said, nah, fuck all that. You said fade you, right? And she was like still trying to talk her way out of it. I'm like, no, bitch, you said fade you, right? But I had already told y'all, I had in my mind that I wasn't gonna hit her first. We had already had the build up. We was already talking to each other like we wasn't shit. So if I did the right thing, bitch, I knew she was gonna hit me. So I knew that if I got in her face, all in her face, and I said what I was saying, she was gonna probably push me. So she pushed me, and when she pushed me, I went the fuck in, because that's all I needed. Like I said, I knew I was gonna beat her ass. So once she pushed me, We started fighting. My homegirl Tanya, she did record the fight, but she put it on Snapchat, but I don't think she didn't put it on her story. She sent it to Tiffany. Yeah, bitch, I'm fighting the bitch that you moved the fuck in here, and now she gotta move out. But we still had like a couple more months left in our lease. Once that happened, she called the police, and the police came. I went to the front office, and I'm basically look, this bitch jumped on me and I had to beat her up. Now y'all need to move her out. They basically telling me what I thought. Like, the only way she was gonna be able to get out of there was a restraining order, or we would have to break the lease. So at that point, I'm just like, I'm gonna file a restraining order on her. But she decided to move anyways because, one, she didn't have the money. And I told her straight up, like, every time I run into you, I don't care if you're in the kitchen, you doing laundry, I'm gonna beat your ass. So she avoided me. And then one day I was about to go to work and I came out my room and I seen her lamp in the hallway. I'm like, oh, she must be leaving. Good for her. Good for her. When we finished fighting, she called the police, but she called 2 niggas. I don't remember one, like how he looked and stuff, but it was one that was taller than me. I'm 5'9", so I'm a tall bitch. And this nigga was taller than me. He was like at least 6'1", 6'2". He was light skinned. He gave me punk, like he gave me gay boy. But I'm not 100% sure if he was gay or not. I just got that vibe, and then I'm like, why you call a nigga to pop up after you fought a bitch? I saw the nigga, I'm like, oh, let me call who I gotta call in case I gotta protect myself.
One thing about if I bring out my secret weapon, one thing about it, you're done.
I called one of my homeboys from back home. Now, he's the type of nigga I call when these type of situations pop off. I'm calling him because that's just what it is. Honestly, it didn't go no further. We didn't cross paths anymore until that bitch moved out. And when she moved out, I made it my mission to stay by her because I knew we'd never see each other again. And that's the story, y'all. That's the story about me beating up my roommate. And like I said, y'all, that this is the beginning of my relationship with Khalil. So it's a bunch of shit, a bunch of drama, and I got tons of story times. Some stuff, like I said, I'm not really ready to talk about just yet because that shit embarrassing. And some stuff, you know, I might laugh about it, kiki about it, but it is what it is. If you made it to this part of the video, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you comment down below any ideas you have for story times or just video ideas in general. And also make sure you follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is @TheRealSine. Make sure you subscribe and like this video. But thanks y'all for making it to the end of the video, and